Hello everybody, I am Conquering History Games and welcome to an exciting new campaign on the channel. Today I'm going to be debuting the latest version of Moereich, Beta 0.10, the anime portraits mod for Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich with my favorite wallpaper of theirs to date. It's simple, it's effective, it's Moe, it's fantastic. Now, today I'm going to be playing as the left KMT, as was chosen very decisively via the poll in my community tab. And there's no more. Let's not gild the lily any further. Let's just jump right into it. Okay, so when you want to play as the left KMT, you have to start as the League of 8 Provinces, which I'm sure most of you know by now is going to blow up very, very quickly. And yeah, we're just gonna try to sort of. I'm just gonna sort of glance over a lot of the League of 8 Provinces events and details and stuff because it's gonna blow up. There are ways that you can go into the Nanjing provinces and you can try to do things like try to bring the provinces back together after they blow up. But the focus of this campaign is not going to be on that. It's going to be about the left KMT, the Kuomintang, who I'm going to talk about their history mostly when we actually get to them. I'm going to try to get that done in this episode. And so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail of like who Sun Chanfang is and things like that. So let's just go over the general situation for those of you who do not know yet. Right now, there is an enormous faction known as the Ching Empire, which is basically, well, obviously the Qing are its faction leader, and it is essentially all the areas of China that are not controlled by the Kmt government, which is, of course, allying itself with the Japanese. The main thing that's going on here is that this is what's sort of been the status quo in China ever since the Northern Expedition, where the left KMT, who I'm going to be playing as again, they attempted to go north to unify China. They were defeated by a combination mostly of German interference, but yeah, there was German interference. The Kmt government up here also was attempting to come south and take Beijing. Beijing ended up being in control of the Zhili clique, and is nominally in charge of all of China except for Manchuria. However, in reality, the local warlords in these various areas, such as Teng Jiao, who I played already, go check that campaign out, and you know, the freaking Zhang Zhongchang and stuff, they are the ones who in reality control these various portions of China. And so this faction is going to go away very, very quickly. It's just one of those guaranteed sort of things. It's like Kerensky dying up here in is that a new portrait for Kerensky? Dying up here in Russia, or how the American Civil War is now inevitable. It's just one of those things that's how the game works. So let's go a little bit into Sun Chuanfang, who, no, it's not here that it says. Actually, I think there's going to be a little. What I'm going to try to do moving forward is, because I often will talk about the history of an area or I talk about the biography of somebody, and then it turns out that it pops up in the game. So what I'm going to try to do from now on is read the games thing, and then I'll just elaborate on it if I feel that the game didn't go into as much detail as I would like, just in the interest of saving time. Alright, national focus, let's just set up the army thing. This doesn't really matter. Free civilian factories, I don't know. Let's build some infrastructure down here in the world or something. Does not matter. We'll try to get that set up. We got a bunch of divisions out here, which are, incidentally, you cannot disband, so you know there's going to be no cheese going on. I guess I'll just, I don't know, watch the border with Qing or something, and put him inside Qing. This really, yeah, it doesn't matter. Ooh, there we go, whatever. Don't care. We're short on some aluminum, and just like that, I'm out of factories. Let's build some convoys or whatever. Okay. So, what the heck? Oh, we don't have convoys to trade with. Who's somebody we can trade with? Probably Germany, right? Yeah, we don't need convoys to trade with Germany. Alright, here we go. The Imperial Cornerstone. So these I'm going to all read just, and then I'll just elaborate on the details afterwards. Oh my gosh, we're almost 5 minutes in. The Imperial Cornerstone, forged amid last decade's war and expanded to its current size following the defeat of the Northern Expedition. Sun Chuanfang's League is a loose confederation of a provincial governments oriented around his stronghold in Nanjing, basically the southern capital. Though united by its members' fear of central government control, the League is nonetheless a cornerstone of the empire, buttressing Beijing against both external threats and internal challengers by virtue of shared heritage. This tenuous arrangement has brought years of peace and with them relative prosperity. Foreign industrial methods have proven transformational, and Sun's army now includes several German-trained and equipped divisions at their core. The League Marshal has come to sit atop a vast bureaucratic pyramid, a position he is more than happy to keep despite the cracks that have begun to appear at its base. German material aid, necessary to offset pressure from Beijing and the League's fractious southern members, has not served as a source of strength alone. German money trickles into every level of the League's hierarchy, feeding an already ingrained and unhealthy taste for corruption, with officials complicit in everything from embezzlement to the stolen antiquities trade. This has gradually stoked the fires of popular discontent, increasingly harnessed by nationalistic agitators and fueled by the elusive remnants of the Kuomintang. That's who we'll be playing. For all Sun's efforts to draw the fragmented League together, it may be drifting all the further apart. Still, these domestic squabbles are outshone by the rising sun, which looms large in the east. Beset by internal conflicts, the League must rise to the challenge or else risk annihilations. Briefings are available on the League's special mechanics, its relationship with the Germans, and internal conflicts. We're just going to sort of skim over this. So, just kind of what I was saying before, Beijing's government and the League hold an awkward status quo, guaranteed by their shared enemies to the north and east, the Fengtian government in Japan. Sun is free to do as he likes within the League, so long as he holds the ceremony and maintains the appearance of a unified country. And then we could do the brief me on the Germans. Significant role in the 1927 destruction of the Northern Expedition, left Berlin with a great deal of leverage in China, tempered only slightly by the 1928 International Shanghai Conference. Sidestepping both international agreements and Beijing's authority, German strength helps hold together the League and maintain autonomy from Wu Pufeng's northern Jili in exchange for an ever-increasing spread of German influence. German control grows, the people watch as the fruits of their labor line the pockets of generals and foreigners alike, so people are questioning if it's necessary. Finally, internal concerns. Pestered by numerous subversive forces, though they may be seen as no threat, they must not be allowed to escape control. There are Kuomintang hideouts. There was another uprising in 32. There's Guangdong and Guangxi and the Linguang over here. There's Hunan up here, which sort of act autonomously within our autonomous area. And so basically, this League of 8 provinces is basically held together by spit and bubblegum. Alright, the League will endure. Well, not if I have anything to say about it. So we're just going to jump ahead on 5 speed. Let's just try to pop out the left KMT. He's meeting with the governors. Whatever. There's some stability and stuff. Again, we're not doing a Nanjing click thing today, so we're just clipping through this. The point is that the left KMT will rise again, and that we are going to take control of it and eventually try to unite China. The Zhigang Railway today marks the long planned opening of the Zhigang Railway, the latest blah 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 blah. We're getting bonuses. Wow, everything's awesome. Infrastructure is great. Things are amazing, and they're going to be amazing forever. Nothing could ever go wrong. Yeah. Unexpected announcement. The AOG, these are the Germans, publicly announced its plans to purchase and consolidate a number of eastern railways on behalf of the SEG, one of its component concerns. So we've now got some sporadic unrest popping up here. This Nanking Commission. Unrest is spreading. We're losing political power. We're losing stability. And if you really want to read this stuff, just pause it. You guys know I love to read stuff, but it's just not relevant for... Like, it is relevant, but you just need to know that things are getting worse. You know, people are starting to attack the Germans who are living within the League of 8 provinces, and it's just a bad situation. Alright, boycotts in Beijing. Talk of a boycott on German goods has accompanied growing protests throughout eastern China, provoked by an assortment of Kuomintang agents, religious cultists, and nationalist ideologues. More disturbingly, some local garrisons have stepped back and allowed the unrest to grow, unwilling to risk being labeled as Hanjian or race traders. I'm going to get back to this term. That's why I brought it up. So it's how do we want to deal with these protests along the lower Yangtze? I think what we're going to do is we're going to use maximum force to punish these people. Totalist charter has been declared. Let's take a look at the focus tree while we're here, I suppose. Yeah, as you can see, they've taken the effort. The Moereich team Moereich, thanks again, Moereich team, by the way, for providing me with some certain information through Discord. Always appreciative. But I do like always the little details you'll see. For example, you can see their faces here. You have the Moe faces in some of these focuses and things like that. You know, as long as we're here, actually. Okay, railway bombings, terrorism, infrastructure damage, pretty straightforward. So these are all the generals that we've got here. Oh, she's got an eye patch. A lot of them are substance abusers. A lot of them. Yeah, not a good thing. Ooh, artillery officer. Those are fun. Report from north and south. There are Kmt Guerrillas. This is us. Kmt Guerrillas have staged a series of increasingly bold raids, striking around the inland cities of Yongding and Longyan. Governor Zhu Yinrin. Where's this? Yeah, so like this area right here. Here in the mountains. Governor Zhu Yinrin has long struggled to assert control over his mountainous province, with control often limited to the coast and the larger inland cities, and now his grasp grows all the more tenuous. Meanwhile, in Jiangsu, there is yeah, and then this is like some religious people also uprising. Not our concern in this episode. Telegram from Beijing. Things are bad, but no, it's fine though. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Are we okay? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's see. People are striking at the German Orange factories. The strikers got shot, and steelworks have been destroyed. No bueno. Not good at all. Decisions available. We have no political power. Are there decisions available? No, there's not. Okay, Anqing, and so it begins. Let's slow things down now. Okay, so Anqing is breaking away. I'll just explain what's going on here. Citing the recent incident in Wuhu, Governor Chen Tiaoyan has issued an ultimatum calling for the withdrawal of all non-provincial forces from Anhui, as well as the immediate handover of those officers responsible, though Chen assures that the League that his own soldiers will continue to quell the spreading unrest and disorder. He refuses further cooperation with League authorities and denounces the creation of the Central China Railway, which he blames for pushing patriotic citizens to the edge of despair. That was the railway we were talking about earlier. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a runny nose today. Under normal circumstances, this behavior would be unacceptable, but Chen's stance has already proven popular, and decisive action could serve to further divide the now fragile League. This is the point where we can, flip over to him, but we're not going to do anything just yet. Okay, let's, yeah, the breakup has begun. And we're just going to wait for the left KMT pop up. Maybe we can go a little bit faster. I'm going to mute it. I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I guess I'm okay. Wait a minute. Don't you hate when it feels like you're about to sneeze and then you don't? Just the worst. The absolute worst. Okay. So, wait a minute. I thought we were going to get another pop-up a little bit faster here. There he is. Chen. Very red hair. Very, very. But things are really about to blow up here. 5th Anglo-Afghani War has just begun. Nanjing Army stuff is complete. I don't know. I don't even care. Naval Command or something. It doesn't matter. We're about to make the switch. Black Monday reaches the east, so of course we are tied to the German economy, and you know there's a lot of German influence, so it hurts us. Ooh, gridlock in France. I really like that picture. I like that you can see the different symbols of the various branches of syndicalism. Oh, nice, nice. Sheng Qingguao declared. Here you have the near click. Yeah, the governor is that's going on up here. So there she is. I've actually recently started playing this game finally. Working my way through it a little bit in my own time, because I figure if I don't get it done while on winter break, I'm not going to finish it until summer, because basically I can't get any... The only video games I play when school is going on is stuff for the channel, so I got to finish this before school starts. So. Very cool, very cool. This is actually probably the path I'm going to take when I do Shandong, which I want to do at some point. Anyway, dissension in the ranks. Some of the divisions are going to disappear because they're not getting paid and whatnot. They're quite annoyed. Very cool, though. Very cool. I was really hoping we'd get near. A heinous crime. Sun Chuanfang has been shot and mortally wounded. Now things are really going to get out of control. Spreading insubordination, just losing support, losing political power, losing stability, losing infrastructure. You know, the industry is getting worse. We're full-blown crippled now. Illusion of Qing hegemony shatters. As you see, the Ching Empire is no more. Facade of Chinese unity held together for nearly a decade has begun to crumble. Beijing's monopoly on power is broken, and now the future is any man's game. Okay, so here we go. Chen Tiaoyuan has declared war. That's the Anqing here. Calling upon his fellow governors. The other governors remain silent for now. Damn him and whatnot. And yeah, Marshal Wu Peifu backs Anqing. Oh, this is interesting. Following the death of Marshal Sun Chuanfang earlier this year and the subsequent collapse of Qing authority, few expected Imperial Minister of the Army Wu Peifu, the real power behind the throne in Beijing, to take over to military action. Yet this morning, he and Assembly President Cao Chun announced their formal support of the provincial government of Anhui, led by Chen Tiaoyuan. Wu and Cao have long chafed under the German oversight placed on their government in 1927. In their support of Governor Chen telegraphed to the world they were casting off German influence. While full deployment of the Qing army is unlikely, given the ever-present threat of Fengtian attack from the north, limited numbers of Qing troops are already mobilizing to destroy the enemies of Governor Cheng and Beijing's new national order. These two are working together. So you got General Xingguan rising in Zhejiang. So that's, which area is that? Yeah, so there's just more breakups now. Here we go. Now we can actually play the game. Stop. Kuomintang rebels, already fermenting insurrection throughout the League, have begun a general uprising in Fujian province, down here, emerging from the mountains to seize a number of villages in the province's interior. The Jiangfu insurgent zone was already known to be a danger, but with the chaos now gripping the League, there is every possibility they will cut a path to the coast, opening the way for aid from their syndicalist allies. So yeah, I know we're here on the coast, but it means like a naval base. At present, Governor Zhu Yinrin is known to have several divisions in and around Guangzhou, but this is unlikely to be enough to stem the tide. So we are now going to take control of them. Nanjing Clique has declared war on us, but these guys, they don't have very many friends. Alright, let's take a moment to take stock of this situation. Alright, we'll just get all of our people here. Switching over to red. There we go. Liberation Army, I like that. Okay. So, we are the left Kuomintang. We are the remnants of that northern expedition which in the 1920s under Chiang Kai-shek attempted to unify China. We are the heirs, as far as we are concerned, to the vision of Sun Yat-sen, who I think I have elaborated on enough in the past. You know, he's the one who came up with the 3 principles for China. We are his heirs as far as I am concerned, and for the purposes of this playthrough. We want to create a people's China, a socialist China, a democratic China, a nationalist China. By any means necessary. Our attempt in the 1920s, which I was referencing earlier, the northern expedition to take Nanjing and Beijing, would absolutely have been a success if it was not for the perfidious German who caused us to lose. Since then, the KMT has been split. Actually, if we go over here to the Chinese factions, I don't think the right KMT starts out here, but the right KMT, we are of course the left KMT, it says it right there in our nation, but the right KMT can spawn, for example, in the Yunnan clique. But if they do, we're probably not going to work with them. We've got our own vision. We have been laying in wait for over 10. It's been almost 10 years since the Northern Exposition. We also attempted an uprising in 1932. We're the only ones who continue to truly keep the dream alive of China for the Chinese in Sun Yat-sen's vision, as far as we're concerned. And so everybody is on the hit list. Everything will be ours by the end of this campaign. But is it going to be under Wang Jingwei? Now that's debatable. Let's actually, before we get into him, let's take a look at our national spirits. So at the moment, we've got low popular. So this low popular support means that our stability and war support both take a 15% hit. The left Kuomintang has democratic and populist ideals. but it does not have the full support of the people in its goal to unify China under its banner. It will take a long period of state building and military successes to get the people to see the nationalist government as a legitimate rather than as a slightly different kind of warlord or as dangerous stooges of the syndicalists. Because let's be clear, we are radical socialists. We are not syndicalists. There's no syndicalist popularity currently within our government. There is a totalist branch under Dai Cheng-feng at the moment, where they're only 5%. And the second most popular group in our country are the Social Democrats, the under Kuomintang, Mingcheng Pai Dazhao Ji. We'll talk about these different leaders when the time is appropriate. Really looking forward to the day when they fix the minister portraits in this, but it's my understanding there's some sort of difficulty with the code. Alright, so we've got that. We have an insurgent army, which is not going to stick around forever, but it does give us some nice bonuses for right now. Our supply consumption is down by 10%. Our division attack and defense on core territories is increased by 10%. We have an additional 24 hours of supply grace should we be cut off. And our infantry equipment's reliability goes up by 10%. It's very interesting. 10 years of insurgency and clandestine activities have turned the core of the new NRA, that's the National Revolutionary Army, into a hardened group with experience in guerrilla warfare. As the NRA transitions back into a conventional mass army, this national idea will disappear. But let me put it this way, by the time that disappears, we're not really going to need it anymore. Yeah, there are cool bonuses, the core territory and stuff, but it doesn't mean a whole lot. Incidentally, when we speak of core territory, this is basically all we got, I believe, is Tingjiang, because even if we come up here... Oh no, we have some... Okay. Yeah, we've got... we do have some areas, but not everything. It's like these 3 or 4 areas. Not a whole lot. As you can see, our manpower is very, very small at the moment. And the National Revolutionary Army, which I was just talking about, has really bad modifiers, because even though we have been conducting guerrilla operations, we have been on our back foot for nearly 10 years since it was a serious, cohesive, chain of command style army. So our experience gain is down by 30%. It costs an additional 50% if we ever want to hire a new army leader. Training time is up by 10%. Max planning and planning speed is reduced by 15%. And our daily command power gain multiplier goes down by a whopping 75%. So that really, really sucks, because without command power, we of course cannot improve our generals, giving them better traits. We cannot have them do things like last stands or plan better or do force attacks. So very, very poor national spirit that we're dealing with right here. All right, now let's actually talk about Wang Jingwei, and I'll read him first before I talk about him in more detail. So our current leader is Wang Jingwei. Wang Jingwei is a divisive figure within the KMT that has nevertheless maintained his control over the party leadership for over a decade. His rise to national prominence started shortly before the Xinhai Revolution in 1910, when he failed to assassinate the Qing regent Zhai Feng. That was Puyi's father. But he became a sensationalized revolutionary hero while in captivity. After the Xinhai Revolution, Wang was released and his radical political writings became more famous. Although refusing to sign an oath of personal loyalty to Sun Yat-sen after his refounding of the Kuomintang, Wang would later become a member and a prominent official in the Guangdong government, aligning himself with the growing left radical factions of the KMT and the army's New Guard. Wang outmaneuvered Hu Min in 1925 to become Sun Yat-sen's successor. Shortly afterwards, the Northern Expedition and the German intervention shattered the Guangdong government. Wang and the other radicals were immediately attacked by Sun Fo and other moderates, so that's the right KMT, for the failures of the expedition, but his control over party positions and personal alliances prevented his disposition. Wang survives to this day by these factors, but is highly aware that his future leadership rests on what happens in the next attempt at revolution. In terms of personality, Wang Jingwei is a flamboyant, blustery character who is a natural orator. His penchant for wearing military uniforms when acting in a position as commander-in-chief makes many of his opponents see him as a megalomaniacal, but he usually lets his actual officers take the lead when it comes to military decisions. His insistence at maintaining an alliance with the syndicalist powers is only surpassed by his desire to avoid another intervention by Germany or Japan at all costs until China is unified and ready to fight them. All right, so that's who he was in this world, in our own personal in our timeline that we exist in. he was also a member of the left KMT, vehemently against the right wing, and in fact initially would align himself in many ways with the Communist Party, you know, their Mao Zedong, but later on he ended up disavowing himself. You see, because you see that happen a lot with when we're talking about the KMT historically. You'll see a lot of people who they're flip-flopping, they're going from organization to organization, they're trying to really find their way. And it was between him and Chiang Kai-shek in our own timeline who was going to be the ruler of the KMT. Of course, as we know, Chiang Kai-shek ended up succeeding, but Chiang Kai-shek is dead in this timeline, so Wang is the natural successor. He is, earlier we talked about that term, the race trader. It's now I don't speak Chinese, but it's my understanding is that Hanjian is a difficult to translate word because it doesn't mean race trader in like maybe like as a racial sense, if that makes sense, but more in a nationalistic sense. So you would call somebody a Hanjian if they were a traitor to their country. So the reason I bring this up is because Wang Jingwei collaborated with Japan during World War II and was the head of their puppet government, but this seems to be disputed, and some of it might be just slurs that were cast upon him later. But like as far as the Japanese were concerned, he was supposed to be the president of the Republic of China that they wanted to create, in the same way that Puyi was the puppet in Manchukuo. So he is seen as a Hanjian. That's why I was saying later on that we would talk about it. And you know, there are photographs that do exist of him meeting with essentially fascist leaders, people like Tojo. Nazis with Boss. Boss is the guy who could take control of India. He's their totalist guy here in the commune. Anyway, so we are almost assuredly, because he is so controversial. He's far too controversial, and it's only because Chiang Kai-shek's not around that he's in charge. We are almost certainly going to get rid of her or him. Yes, because she looks like a girl here. But as to who we're gonna go with, well, I don't want to say, but I will just say, because I genuinely have not decided yet who I'm going to pick to be our leader. I know a lot of people say that you got to play the left KMT, you got to get your waifu song. Like, well, now everybody is one of your so-called waifus. Anyway, so we're not going to adopt Wang's new 3 principles that he came up with when he was head of the puppet government, because freaking Sun Yat-sen had his 3 principles. Wang wanted his own 3 principles. All right, so we've got some national focuses to set up though here. So let's start up with the second NRA. A lot of these are very short. We are now in open revolt, and as such, our military forces must move from insurgency tactics back to conventional warfare against the warlords. More units must be raised in larger formations, and in doing so, we will form a second national revolutionary army to finally unify China. This is going to give us some quick templates that we could use, as well as things like bonuses for our land doctrine, and a quick 25 command power for us to spend, and we get 1 division out of it. What else is going on? Let's see. Nanjing right now is down to, I should have gotten a count. I think there was like 18 divisions when we broke off. So obviously, they outnumber us, but I don't think they're going to be able to adequately fend us off for right now. All right, so. Okay, a couple of things I want to bring up before we end the episode, and then the next episode we'll actually start the fighting. We can assume the national leadership of China if the Qing do not exist, or we have an army strength that's higher than 120% of the Qing Empire. Obviously, that's going to be quite difficult, since right now we only have 8 divisions, and they possibly have as many as 31. The other thing I wanted to bring up, we have the Chinese National Revolution. After the disastrous failure of the Northern Expedition, the Kuomintang's internal unity literally and figuratively split along ideological lines. While the subordinate right-wing faction found refuge with the southern warlords, that's this area, the left KMT has been reduced to an insurgency in southeast China and a government in exile in Paris. The last 10 years have seen few openings to reestablish a rival government, but the consensus is that the next attempt must fully embrace social revolution. They may have one last chance to realize Dr. Sun's vision. So we've got some asks of us. So for example, if we get to the sea soon, we can get access to stability, and we'll get some guns. Or wait, no, is it guns or artillery? We're gonna get weapons if we do that. There's things like if we can secure these provinces, and that'll also increase our stability and give us weapons. And we could also spend 50 political power at a time to get 1% more war support, but we'll also get some basically militia brigades, which are not very good, but they might not be bad for filling in the front line. And finally, we have army reform, which everybody has in China, pretty much, where we have to spend army experience in order to fix up our very poor army. Like right here, we have a minus 75% division defense. And remember, that's in addition to the frickin' we have the National Revolutionary Army, which is also negatively hurting us. So those are the decisions that I wanted you all to be aware of, and so there's a lot of stuff to keep us busy in this campaign. It's a very left KMT. All of the Chinese factions are very dense, so there's a whole lot going on. And of course, we've got the Nanjing to face first off, and we can hopefully pull that off in the next episode. That's it. I'm Conquering History Games. Please be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you're going to be notified whenever a new video in this series goes up. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be fun. I'm a big fan of Moereich, and I hope that you are too. And I will see you in that next episode. Goodbye.